So, we're entering that era where blockchain verification for AI is going to be really important to know, am I watching an approved twin? Am I watching a twin at all? Or am I watching the real human? So it's hard to understand that. So a lot of the reaction we're getting, Yuri, is I didn't know you could do that, number one. That's really exciting. And almost in the same breath, that's really freaky. So, but everything's moving so fast now that this is now the norm. So it's like not having a website now is not having an AI twin be able to, whether it's an avatar, photorealistic or not having it's going to mean that you're falling behind.
Hey guys, welcome to VNTR Podcast. Today we are hosting Bill Inman. Welcome, Bill. It will be great to learn more about your activities and your background. Maybe we can start with quick introduction and then we will dive deep into discussions about AI.
Yeah, you're great to be here. It's always a pleasure to be with you. And whenever I attend the VNTR events, I'm always amazed by number one, how big your network is, which is amazing, and how fast you're growing. And just the quality of conversations that I've had around the network have been amazing. We first met in, I think it was Dubai. It might have been Singapore at a Web3 event. But I had a chance to learn all about you, and it was exciting and super thrilled to be a part of the organization. Of course, I'm a member, and I'm obviously working to help grow the Las Vegas space. We've had a few events there so far, which have gone really good. My background is, like many people who are part of your network, serial entrepreneur. I've been growing companies since I was in my mid 20s. Once I graduated from college, I've been a part of about $200 million in raises, mainly for idea stage companies, just had an idea and going from there, and mostly in emerging and pioneer tech. So these days, I find myself at the convergence of AI and blockchain, running a few projects, investing in others, and that revolves around what we call the twin ecosystem. There's a couple projects we might talk about today. Angel Twin being one, which is a combination of Angel AI and Twin Protocol. And then there's many other joint ventures I'm in. So I'm a proud entrepreneur and have had my share of failures, but a few successes. Blockchain AI patent holder, grew a company named ECG from 0 to 3.2 billion. Around 2010. And then most recently had started and sold a company to job.com, which was an AI and blockchain company. So, but never before, Yuri, have I seen so much opportunity as we have today with AI just kind of being the new platform tech for everything. So excited to talk to you about it.
Cool. Yeah, so let's dive in. In terms of your background, right? So you mentioned you built various ventures. What was the journey there, right? It's kind of maybe you can share some like the $3 billion company. What was the journey there, and how did you guys build such a successful business?
Like many of the entrepreneurs in your network, I was never quite satisfied with working for somebody else. So, after a short stint in the human capital industry, I started my own staffing company in technology in 1997. And I started to place people in jobs in Silicon Valley at various startups, everything from Visual Basic engineers to Power Builder coders. And then I started to work in Hollywood with Disney and Warner Brothers. And I work with companies like Boeing. And I was putting people in editing jobs, but mainly tech jobs. And fortunately for me, I took some of my fees in stock in those early days, and I saw the power of the multiple, if you will. And I was doing, in my mid 20s, I was doing great. I had been involved with technology really since I was a kid. I started programming when I was 11 on the Commodore 64, so it was just in my DNA to be around tech. And once I started that staffing company in the dot-com era, I saw how well the companies I was placing technical people into jobs for were doing, and I started a company. I started an applicant tracking system in 1999 that was then called an ASP. Which was the predecessor to cloud technology, and ended up selling that company to a staffing firm. And then I found my way after that first kind of, being in the mid 20s success into much larger companies. I went to a $1 billion company, which became a company called ECG. And we infused technology to manage global workforces. So that company grew from zero, was just an idea I had taken to the founders. It was capitalized with about $100 million and grew to $3.2 billion, $2 billion through acquisition and 1.2 billion organically. And that was tech to manage a global workforce. So that was like 2004 to 2008, in that range. So during the teens, leading up to the 2020s, I had started various companies. One I had talked about called Talenting. I sold to job.com. After starting that company in about 2020, I found my way to decentralized AI and met a gentleman named Dr. Ben Gertzel of Singularity Net. And that's been my sole focus since then, understanding how important, number one, AI is, but number two, how powerful AGI, artificial general intelligence, will be, and just being an entrepreneur in that space. So moving from HR tech, Yuri, along the way, being a part of $200 million in raises for newcos, and then growing companies from zero to billions and starting and selling companies. I'm now, all the way here to the AI and blockchain era.
Cool, cool. So when did you switch to AI? It's kind of you were one of the pioneers. It's been a while that you are in AI.
It's pattern recognition in data, Yuri, as you know, is what we're talking about here. It becomes, when self-learning machines come out, different beast,
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote. But I've always been a part of data. Working with talent in the early 2000s, I had millions of resumes on file, which we needed to get through quick, and we needed to find matches in those resumes. So I started building systems way back in the early 2000s. Formally in 2015, I started a company called Talenting, and that basically was using blockchain to store resumes so that resumes were immutable and couldn't be faked. 70% of resumes have fake information on them. So we put them in blockchain to affect that. And then we used AI to create what was like a credit score for resumes. We called it a career score. So it would analyze a match between a candidate and a job, and then it would come up with a 0 to 800 score, kind of like a credit score in the US. And that was my first entrance into AI. So that was 2015, Yuri. We ended up selling that company in 2020.
Yeah, so you started the Twin Protocol recently, right? And you kind of what was the idea behind Twin Protocol, and where are you guys standing with this venture these days?
Yeah, we're really excited about Twin Protocol. Our goal is to get more than a billion people involved in AI who might be disenfranchised. And, AI is bringing $15 trillion of new productivity to the world. So that's a lot of money to land grab after, and efficiencies. So, and then on the reverse side of the coin, AI is going to cause the reskilling of 800 million jobs in the world as well. So there's a lot of opportunity and there's a lot of disruption, as we all know with AI. So we started creating Twin Protocol. We created to leverage people's personal data and personal information so that they could use that to participate in the AI economy. So it really is a blockchain backend solution where individuals' data is stored on chain, and then leveraging AI to deliver twins to their former employer, to their family, to their friends, for hobbies, for work. And so we started that company about 2 years ago. I launched a token around it, and we have some pretty exciting momentum now. We're partnering with the number one personal finance AI in the world, Angel AI. They have 200,000 users and growing at 20% in their own right. And we've created the twin for people like Deepak Chopra, who many of your users have probably heard of, and it's getting a lot of momentum now. And it's more important than ever because as big tech continues to kind of take data for their own purposes and monetize that data, we're through Twin Protocol and the Twin ecosystem giving that power back to the user.
So can you elaborate what is a twin, right? It's kind of what stands behind a twin and why someone needs a twin.
Yeah, everybody's going to need a twin. Yuri, one of the biggest things that's happening today in technology and how it's impacting society is we're in a very narrow window where humans are primarily going to be the main communicator with AI. We're going to reach a time frame in the next few years where AIs are going to be communicating with AIs at scale. And that's going to be the main mode of communication, where you, as an individual, Yuri, for VNTR, for your personal life, you've programmed your own AI to speak on your behalf. And it'll do it thousands of times an hour. It'll talk to investors for you. It'll talk to startups that you work with at VNTR. People who have startups will have their own AIs. And without having your own personal AI twin, you're just not going to be able to participate in the world in that full economy. It'll be like not having the internet and the cell phone together. It's just like you're just not going to be able to communicate when AIs are communicating at scale. So we're in this really important period where training your AI is kind of a luxury. It's kind of new. It's a little scary for some, but it's going to be absolutely required in the near future to participate in the AI economy. So that's the big macro trend that's happening now, Yuri.
Can you elaborate on use cases where I know that you are using your own twins already. What are the main use cases where you see the use of twins, and also how other people perceive the twins, right? When they know that it's not you, how do they perceive that today? And how do you think it's going to be perceived in the future?
Yeah. So, as you mentioned, my twin. So, my twin runs 5 shows for me. You can see on my LinkedIn. Just go to linkedin.com and see Bill Inman, and you'll see the shows. Or you can go to my Twitter as well. It's running 5 different shows for me. My twin writes the scripts, makes the show. One of them is called AI on the Rise, where we're following all the new investments from the previous week in AI for pre-seed, seed, and Series A. So, which is quite large now, by the way. It's $671 million last week in Crunchbase data on new AI investments. It's about 50 companies long. By the way, as an aside, Yuri, last year it was 1/4 that. So the amount of money going to AI is crazy. So my twin analyzes the data, comes up with the script, and my twin avatar does the show. I only QA the thing and approve it and put it out there. So I also am doing shows on what's called Twin TV, where I speak with famous people and their AIs. So we just recently did Mozart. We ingested a bunch of details on Mozart, and I talked to Mozart about AI. Pretty much everything I do, Yuri, is kind of focused around AI. So as far as creating content for people, it's been super powerful for me to use my own twin to create massive amounts of content with very little work. Now, 30% of the world, Yuri, are introverts. People just don't like being in front of a camera, or they don't know how to set up lighting or a green screen or all the technical aspects. And this really has helped a lot of introverted people start their own accounts. So we have people now who are using twins to become fitness influencers in their local market, and they're not even in front of a camera. We've just ingested 3 minutes of their video, all their fitness information, and boom, you've got a content creator for you. So how are people reacting to that? It's becoming so photorealistic, Yuri, that people can't even tell the difference sometimes between a twin and a real person. We always put on our videos AI twin in the bottom left corner so people know. We're entering that era where blockchain verification for AI is going to be really important to know, am I watching an approved twin? Am I watching a twin at all? Or am I watching the real human? So it's hard to understand that. So a lot of the reaction we're getting, Yuri, is I didn't know you could do that. Number one, that's really exciting, and almost in the same breath, that's really freaky. So, but everything's moving so fast now that this is now the norm. So it's like not having a website now is not having an AI twin be able to, whether it's an avatar, photorealistic or not having it's going to mean that you're falling behind. So that's just one use case, Yuri. Content creation is easy. Now, we've got some advanced use cases. We're experimenting with one right now where we've codenamed Twinder, where we have the two AI twins of different people date before they actually go on an IRL date, in real life date. So the two twins can, from an Instagram page only, or a TikTok and an Instagram page, they can talk. They actually have a conversation that looks like a talk show, and then that's recorded and it goes back to the one of the individuals or both, and they can see if these two twins have any synergies and or not. So that's like another use case, and those are both real personal. To be able to screen out certain relationships you or conversations you want or don't want, it's a great strategy. On the business side, that same Twinder technology is where you can have your LinkedIn page talk to another person's LinkedIn page like that, and they can have a business conversation. Oh, we both went to UCLA, and we both like badminton if that's on their page, or we're both part of the same club. So you can explore the synergies between two people with their twins now. Now, advancing the use cases, being a twin subject matter expert was one of the key things we started with, where you could leave your twin behind at a job you retire from or the contract ends, and you could still earn. We're paying people in twin tokens, so it borderless, permissionless, real time. You can leave your knowledge behind as a twin, and let's say you're a really well-known aeronautical engineer who designs wings like nobody else in the world, that twin can stay behind and guide the rest of the staff that's there on your expertise while you're asleep. So subject matter twins is another use case for this. This is also being used through our Angel Twin integration. Angel AI plus Twin protocol. It's called Angel Twin, and they're really strong. Matter of fact, to me, the number one AI in the real estate space. So we have real estate agents now using their Twin to talk about listings, to talk about the loan process, to build a relationship with the prospective buyer. Same for loan officers, and they have 200,000 users. We're rolling that out to. So Yuri, it's blue ocean. I mean, you can almost come up with any use case that a human can do, and a twin can help be there at scale for you.
Yeah, so I do see the efficiency, but also there are some issues in terms of ethics, and your twin starts misrepresenting you, right? It's kind of, what instruments do you incorporate so that the twin is really represents you, and your voice, your ethics. What do you guys do around it?
That's so important, Yuri. I'm glad you brought that up. It's like people's mind go there immediately. What if it says something I don't want it to say about me? Well, the first thing we did at Twin Protocol is we allowed the ability to disconnect your twin from LLMs. So there's no hallucination. You're not blending your brain with the internet and then getting random or even erroneous stats from the internet. It's just your data. So Yuri, I'll take you for example with VNTR, we could load all the VNTR website information, a lot of these sessions that you do with people, your own personal white papers. You have your own SOPs. I know at VNTR, all that could be loaded into the Yuri Twin, and the Yuri Twin would only take information from that bundle and deliver a response to people. People would prompt Yuri like, "How do I become involved with VNTR? Or what's the benefits of VNTR?" It's only going to come from that information. You're not going to mix in information from JP Morgan or some other financial institution here for you. So that was number one. Number two, it's really important for people to evolve their twin and curate their twin. So the process that we bring people into inside of this whole aspect is, once you ingest information into your twin, you continue to curate that information forever. So what might be true for you today might change for you in your operating procedures later. So you're evolving and curating your twin and the information in there along the way. And then after you curate it, Yuri, you're grouping the information into the groups that you want people to see. Maybe you have your work information here for finance. Maybe you as an investor, Yuri, I know you invest as well. Maybe as an investor, you have certain bits of information. Maybe for the startups you work with or the companies looking to raise, you have that bit of information. Maybe for tokenization in Web3, it's different. So you're grouping and bundling the information, and then you're permissioning it to certain people. All right, so this information, it might be you again, Yuri, is only for my family. I only want my family to see this. I don't want anybody else to see it. So you would permission that by adding a user account to their twin, so only they could see it on login. You might permission that after you pass, Yuri. You might want information your family to see after you or I are long gone. I don't even want to put that out there about you, but somebody's long gone. That you might be able to permission it, so after somebody passes, that information's passed to their family. So you have the family group. You might have hobbies. I know you're a world traveler, Yuri, and pretty athletic guy. So you might share that information about what your likes and your travel and all your thoughts there with a different group of people. And you might have work information. So you're permissioning the information that you're constantly curating to specific groups of people. And then you're tokenizing it, Yuri. So your knowledge, our time and knowledge is really what we have in expertise, which is becoming devalued in the era of AI because intelligence is almost like water now. You can buy it from anywhere. So, but what you're doing with your information is the VNTR information for members, they've already paid, maybe they access it at no cost. But if you're new to VNTR and you just need to access some information on how do I raise for my Series A, what's the best practice, maybe you'd pay 100 twin tokens for that, maybe more. And so you, Yuri, in the I'm only talking twin protocol environment, and then broad strokes. You can do this across AI and cobble all this stuff together. I'm just using it as an example. So you're able to tokenize your information and sell it to people even when you're sleeping. So now your AI is working on your behalf. And I think it's really powerful to get people into the AI economy, is tokenizing our thoughts and putting our brain in blockchain so that we own it and not just giving it away to big tech.
So when you segment the data, don't you think that your twin is not as smart as you are? It's kind of that it doesn't have all the knowledge. It's kind of, what is the best way, in a way, to keep your twin smart enough to represent you, but on the other side, also control it, right?
Well, I'll tell you, my twin's much smarter than me in the morning before I have my coffee. So just being groggy and waking up. So, and then when I'm asleep, I'm not smart at all. So, I mean, people are talking to my twin and getting my twin or seeing my twin when I'm not even conscious, Yuri. So you have to take a look at what can we do at scale now with our time. So
Yeah.
number one, there's that. As far as, making sure you have the right answers when your twin, at least in our case, right? I can only speak on our behalf, and there's quite a bit of AIs out there. I think we differentiate at Twin because of the blockchain ownership aspect. But so I say it with a grain of salt. When you have a question inside of our application that's asked and you can't answer, your twin says, "I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. Ask another question," something of that nature. So when you're asked a question inside a Twin protocol, your twin will say, "I don't have the answer to that." You, as the curator of your own twin brain, basically sees the questions that you're asked and you can't answer, and now you give those answers to the twin. So your twin is constantly evolving with the questions that people ask of you. Now, part of our initiative is to mash up two brains together. So there might be a Yuri and Bill brain, right? Yuri, genius in financial aspects, global finance, helping companies capitalize. Bill is all right in AI and blockchain. So we might mash our two brains up together, Yuri, and deliver specifically. An investor might go, "I want to invest in an AI company, but tell me if this idea is legitimate." And the AI side might come from me, and the
Mm.
finance side might come from you. And we both get paid
Mm.
tokens for that. So you can supplement your information by constantly evolving, knowing what people asked you that you couldn't answer before, or mashing it up with another brain. Like I just told you earlier, I did an interview with Mozart. I could take Mozart's whole corpus of knowledge, integrate that with mine, and I know more about classical music. So that'll allow you, Yuri, to have your knowledge base. You have your VNTR business, like best in the world at helping companies, raise and build a global network. But then there's the Yuri VNTR knowledge base that you might be licensing to enterprise applications who want to grow their own internal startups fast. Totally new revenue stream for you. But in all cases, Yuri, just to answer your question, you're curating your information. You know what you've been asked that you can't answer, and you supplement it with new info.
Do you connect your twins to LLMs, and which LLMs does it support, or what are the best practices?
We do. Yeah. So we have created our own LLM wrapper called Persona AI. First of all, there's filters and a matrix that it allows you to not talk about. So if you don't want to say a cuss word, it's going to cut those things out. Furthermore, it really makes you talk in the first person with your personality. So we have the Persona LLM wrapper that we have, and then we're LLM agnostic. So we connect to multiple LLMs. We, of course, have the usual suspects, OpenAI. We also connect to Singularity Nets, neural nets there, Singularity Net being decentralized AI. In the case of our joint venture with Angel AI, Angel Twin, we connect to their proprietary neural nets with 45 years of mortgage data. So there's no LLM in the world that can do everything. Matter of fact, language models are not good at math. So they're not good at time. So they really can't tell the difference between yesterday and today very well. So we use different models based on what we're working to accomplish. And we've separated AI into four groups, Yuri. We look at AI as the compute power, which is a huge moat for most it's at the national and NVIDIA and TSMC level. The algorithms, where the LLMs live and other narrow AIs and agentic AI. The training data, that's really what we're about, is storing your training data, curating your training data, and then the interfaces, avatars, self-driving cars, humanoid robots, SDKs, APIs. So we're really good at the training data side, and we use different agents or algorithms based upon the need of the client.
Mm. So you've been doing, you were part of Sophia the robot, Grace the robot, right? Kind of, you were connected to these robots as well. How do you see the twins come into life with the next generation of robots that are coming?
Yeah, I was really lucky, Yuri. After I sold, along with the other co-founders, the company Talenting to Job.com in 2020, I almost immediately met Dr. Ben Goertzel of Singularity Net, and he's known as the father of AGI. He helped coin the term, and other visionaries like Ray Kurzweil projected the singularity and human level AI intelligence a while ago. So part of that ecosystem with Dr. Ben Goertzel and Singularity Net is Sophia the robot. created by Hanson Robotics and David Hanson, another brilliant AI innovator. And you've seen Sophia in person. And, in 2015, when she was born on Valentine's Day, just blew the world away, became the world's first robot citizen, performed on The Tonight Show, spoke at the United Nations. Still today, I actually have a Sophia utility robot. We have one called Sage. I have one that I showed to certain people. Still today, even though you have Optimus coming out, Boston Robotics is making traction. The craziness about how fast that particular vertical market is moving is off the charts. But the Sophia platform still has that, it makes people sweat when they talk to Sophia. So it's the most human-like form of AI I've ever experienced from an interface perspective. Remember, Yuri, there's compute power, algorithms, training data, and interfaces. When it comes to an interface that makes people feel uncomfortable or even comfortable, it's humanoid robots that have that frubber skin, which she does. So I see Yuri. It doesn't matter what interface the Yuri twin is in. You can take that. People can interact in a chat bot. Yuri, you might sell your information via SDK or API to a financial system. You might in your car have a Yuri, so that instead of people listening to a podcast, they're like, bring up the Yuri VNTR twin. I have a startup idea. Hey, Yuri twin, how do I raise money? Where do I go? What do I do? And your twin's talking to that person on their daily commute. Another interface, self-driving car. You might go to a humanoid robot, Yuri. It might go to a Tesla Optimus, which has no face. It might go to a Sophia that has a face. They might make the face on the Sophia platform that looks like you. So the interfaces are kind of flavor of the month to me. Yesterday was self-driving cars. Tomorrow it's humanoid robots, and then it's going to be holograms wherever you want them. GPS-enabled avatars you hold your phone up to. What's important, Yuri, is that your training data is being stored and can go to any of these interfaces. And that's what we're all about at Twin Protocol, is being able, first, you got to own your data. If you don't own your data, you're just giving away your knowledge to the big tech, and they'll gladly take it, as they have.
And can we talk about the convergence of AI and blockchain, right? It's kind of, you guys have both the AI and the blockchain. Where is blockchain being utilized?
Yeah, well, I think just on a broad scale, Yuri, I think if you look at Industry 4.0, Industry 3.0 was 1970s until about 2010, and that's the PC era and the microprocessor era. Industry 2.0 was Henry Ford inventing the automation, and Industry 1.0 was using steam. As we kind of barrel ahead into Industry 4.0, which we're in right now. It's basically humans and AI working together. What's happened over the past 20 years is we've signed into the cloud, to cloud apps with login with Google, login with Facebook, login with Amazon, login with Apple. And in our user agreements, it said, take all my data. I'm going to use your free apps. Thank you very much. So they used all that data. Go to OpenAI today and look at their mission. It's to achieve AGI. So artificial general intelligence, a term I learned from Dr. Ben Goertzel I mentioned earlier. We're in the era of artificial narrow intelligence. AI does narrow things. Count this for me, draw this for me, write this for me. But when we get to general, you'll talk to an AI and it's going to be human level with human communications. And possibly will in the next few years we'll hit the singularity where AI, is self-training and possibly even conscious. Finally leading to ASI, artificial superintelligence, where AI is smarter than everyone on the planet at the same time. Brave new world. So what we've done over 20 years, Yuri, is that we've given all of our data to centralized big tech and said, use it. I'm going to use your free stuff. We have to stop. Blockchain is the database of Web3. It's the technology of trust. We're seeing now this year Bitcoin getting a tremendous amount of traction by cutting out the middlemen of the world, and people are saying that okay, decentralizing our money is important, so we're not riding the ebbs and flows of fiat currencies throughout the world. And you've seen what's happened with El Salvador. They went heavy into Bitcoin, and it really helped their economy. So it's important for our own knowledge, Yuri, that we stop giving it away and we take ownership of it. That's blockchain. That's what I loved about blockchain. Well, my first patent in blockchain was taking a resume and putting it on chain so you could tell if a resume was fake or not. Technology of trust, blockchain. Take out middlemen. And then you can do a whole bunch of stuff. So we have to put our knowledge on blockchain, Yuri, or we're giving it away, number one. Number two, when we put our knowledge on blockchain, it's immutable. It's there forever. So you can say, as a technology of trust, of saying this was on chain a year ago, and you can't change it to be something different later. It's immutable. And I love that part about blockchain. And furthermore, once it's on chain, you can decentralize it. It's not one. I have a friend that works at a big tech red flag center, and to some degree, we need this, and we're going to need it for decentralization. But if a keyword comes in that's like dirty bomb in this warehouse of people working at the big tech company, they can see into every account. There's rows and rows of people. They can see into everything we ever wrote in the cloud. We need to take back our information, and we need to own it, and we need to curate it, and we need to have credit for it, and we need to be paid for it. So blockchain with AI is really about the training data, Yuri. It's about owning your own training data. Even if you're passing that into centralized LLMs, our persona AI actually takes your data, anonymizes it, and then sends it to an LLM. So the LLM doesn't know who you are. So that's really critical too. So putting your data on blockchain means ownership for you. It means that you can a whole new set of use cases that you can globalize your brain and be paid for it, and you can trust now, right? It's because you own your information.
You also mentioned that there is cryptocurrency involved and tokens exchange between agents or between twins. How does this work, and how people can monetize using it?
So this is like the really important part of this, and I mentioned this early in our discussion here. The trend is AIs talking to other AIs on your behalf. That's the trend. You're not going to have an AI say, "I'm going to send you a wire for some information," and then when the wire gets here, I'll or use the Swift rails to get there. It's too slow. So in order to share your knowledge globally and with other people, it has to be tokenized, Yuri, because it's just the speed of that. So you're tokenizing your thoughts here, and you need a technology that can transfer the thoughts around the world, regardless of culture, regardless of economic barriers, right away. So we've tokenized your brain at Twin Protocol. The amount of Twin token you have is correlated with the amount of data you have, and we call it a vault, your Twin vault. More data in your vault, more Twin tokens you need to power that. Now, I've mentioned a few times this Angel AI, Angel Twin integration. The Angel Twin ecosystem is powered by the ANGL token. Separate token, has financial aspects to it, is integrated with real estate, not as focused on the backend vault. And that powers that ecosystem to grow. We're also looking at comedians and other world champion athletes who want their own token to power their own ecosystem. They'll filter into the token economy and they'll interact. But in order to have several billion people with different interests, different cultures, different wants and needs, these different tokens are really important for speed. They're decentralized, so nobody can get in the middle of your money. Again, when you go through centralized banks, they can say on a whim, okay, let's stop this, let's stop that. We don't want this, we don't want that. Not with tokens. So you're tokenizing your thoughts. It has to be a very decentralized system. So there's so many reasons, Yuri, to use blockchain and tokens to power an AI economy, but those are just a few.
It sounds like I need to finance my twin, right? Kind of, I need to constantly maintain certain amount of tokens to power my twin. How does my twin make money, or kind of how do I design this whole the business model around my twin so that it can be self-sustainable or it can generate profit for me?
Yeah, sure. So you can go today to twinprotocol.com and sign up for free and create your own twin. So you can just get started for free creating your own twin. You could do the same thing at our partner, angeltwin.io. You can go there and you can start a twin for free. Different twin aspects. The angel side is financial. It'll help you get a mortgage. It'll clean credit in the US and do things like that. Twin protocol is general. And we'll continue to roll this out as a protocol to different partners. So you start for free on both applications and you just get started. As you build your brain inside of Twin, you'll power up with Twin tokens and Twin points. So you want to use what we call an HD twin, a photorealistic twin, you'll need points to do that. Now, if you're just releasing your twin for content and your twin's creating content, you'll draw down on Twin points and Twin tokens every time you create content. Might take you 6 Twin points to create a video that's like a minute long. However, when you release your twin into the wild, and have people access your twin and pay you, you can charge a monthly subscription. So this is what we've done for various thought leaders.
Is it done through fiat or through tokens?
Either. So one of the problems with Web3 today, it's kind of a cannibalistic economy where DeFi's just trade with other DeFi's. We've made it Web2 and Web3 so that anybody can be involved into a twin. When somebody pays to power up their twin with US dollars, A portion of those dollars is then vaulted as tokens. Tokens are taken off the market, put into their twin, and you have to have that blockchain, that token there to power your twin. So it's the front end of US dollars, but it's a token economy on the back end. When you release your twin into the wild, we will pay you extra, and there'll be discounts for powering up your twin when you get paid in tokens. So of course tokens are, on centralized and decentralized exchanges. So no matter where you are in the world, depending upon where you are, you can use an exchange to convert that to whatever currency you want. And this is really a global tool. So you start for free, Yuri. You power up your twin with tokens, whether it's an angel token or it's a twin token. And then when you put your token out there for people to access, you're paid in tokens at a margin. And in general, we'll just basically say, here's the platform, pay for the usage, or we'll joint venture with the company to say, let's share the profits together. Let's work on this together. And you don't know twins, you know healthcare. Let's work together on that. So there's many ways that we go about that, but start for free.
So how do you recommend people to build a new career with their twins, right? Because like given you mentioned before that you can retire and your twin will work for you. Do you provide any education or guidance for people how to build this new career in the future?
Well, we have a twin that does on the Twin Protocol site, and on the Angel AI side, you just simply chat with their technology, and it tells you how. And it's pretty easy. It's easy as using a chat. Now, there's a whole bunch of best practices we're learning along the way. We have multiple celebrities that are just getting started, and they want various aspects. So we're integrating with app ecosystems to have more agents to do more things, not just have the twin talk. But so going back to the first part of your question. Um, People just need to get started, Yuri. This is all moving so fast. You just need to go to Twin Protocol, start a twin for free, upload some knowledge you have. And if you're like, I don't really have any knowledge, then you just need to record yourself for 3 to 5 minutes talking about your work, and do that on a daily basis would really help. You have to start by creating a twin, creating a vault, and getting started. And then you can put your twin out into, you can create your twin so that it's available via subscription only. People pay you to access your twin. And right away, you have your twin working for you with your knowledge online anytime people want to access it.
Mm.
On the Angel Twin side, this is happening with hundreds of real estate professionals who are activating their twin through that application, and they're using it to talk about their listings or how to get a loan. And it's pretty simple, Yuri. You just need to upload your information in text format currently, and your twin's created.
Okay. What is your perspective on the future of AI in general? Right? It's kind of we covered the twins, etc. Where do you see the biggest opportunity right now with AI in general?
Right. Well, as you know, you're in the finance industry, Yuri, and if you follow my show, which I talked about earlier, AI on the Rise, investors have tripled, quadrupled the amount of investment they're putting into AI today. So if you can, as with Nvidia, if you're lucky enough to get in 5 years ago, a Tesla 5 years ago, I was in human capital. I had 300 people working out at Tesla in 2012, and I mistakenly sold that stock there during that time frame way too early, because we've seen Tesla, and of course it ebbs and flows, and there's political aspects there, but the training data that they've gained through the self-driving cars and their movement into Optimus has taken their stock to new heights. So for investors, if you can find a company, we're going to see a lot of investment for investors, and then we're going to see a lot of consolidation. Companies are not moving. The Global 2000, they are not moving fast enough in AI in general. Tech is, but the retailers and the IRL Web 2 businesses, I really believe they're just going to be gobbling up AI companies left and right to catch up. They're going to FOMO themselves. So if you're an investor and you can invest, and you got to find all the normal things with the company, you got to find the right people, make sure they know what they're doing, have the right market, you have a good use of proceeds. For investors, this is like the golden era. We haven't seen any roll-ups yet. We've seen a lot of technologies that are available. So on my side, I see $1 trillion market in blockchain plus AI. And I do not see a lot of people there, Yuri. There are competitors and people in the space, and we've partnered up with Singularity Net, which is now part of the FET Fetch token. And but Yuri, owning your own data is $1 trillion, and I don't see anybody there. So we're all over it. So from an investor standpoint, and we're just finding as many partners we can to scale. From an individual standpoint, let's just take a person who's working at their company. You can go to your CEO today and you could say, you know what, CEO, I have a bright idea. I know we've never met before. I'm seeing you in the elevator. We should create your twin Mr. or Mrs. CEO, so that you can speak to the company more. People want to know what your mission and values are, and so that people can ask you questions, so customers can become familiar, all the way down to the SMB level. So we have one client who is up for Deloitte Entrepreneur of the Year, and he owns $100 million flooring company. Well, he created his twin so it could speak Spanish to Spanish speaking customers. Opened up a whole new your twin right away speaks 37 languages, Yuri. So if you're not good at speaking Spanish or Hindi or Arabic, it does. So you can open up new markets, and why wouldn't you? Right? Even in your local, if you take the Bay Area and San Francisco, there's a lot of native speakers who speak English and other languages. Well, they might have an affinity to you if you could speak to them in Hindi, for example. So there are not a lot of SMBs. The vast majority that have used AI get started, speak in different languages, and if you're an investor, we haven't seen the roll-ups yet. That we're now there's a bit of a bubble, right? The AI, I used to say this for fun, Yuri, that there's going to be AI toilet paper someday. Well, I think it was Charmin and OpenAI teamed up to actually create AI toilet paper. So there's a bit of a market clutter and bubble, but still there's a lot of opportunity for investors and even investing in AI in your own company. So just get started again, Yuri.
We hear more and more investors interested in vertical AI, right? Kind of AI for something for certain industry. So which industries do you see the biggest opportunity at as vertical AI?
Well, with the Angel Twin integration, real estate is the biggest asset class in the world at $260 trillion. So, being that there's so much IRL there value, that's an area that there's value. There's no question about that. And there are not a lot of players that are using AI on the local, regional real estate level, or even in general. So, we're all in with Angel AI on real estate, Yuri. We think it's going to be great for AI, but also leads to token opportunities as well with real world assets, RWAs, and of course, healthcare, Yuri. I mean, there's sure. You mentioned before that I work with Sophia the robot. That platform was used for healthcare, and there's healthcare with all the big technology providers.
And Grace the robot as well.
Grace as well, absolutely. That's part of the Sophia the robot platform, actually. And but even just in wellness, we have a couple rollouts with local clinics who are local wellness clinics that are using AI to educate people on what they can do non-pharmaceutical to feel better in life. I think all that on the base level is wide open.
Yeah, very cool. And so in terms of well-being with AI, right? Kind of, let's say I have my twin, I have my robot that is my kind of serving me, or certain family members that passed away, and I replicated them as a angel twin, as a twin, or as a robot twin, right? Kind of, how do you see that kind of advancing in the future in terms of our life in the future?
Yeah, I was asked. I'm here in DC, so I was at a Washington Nationals game on the 4th of July here, and I was sitting next to a movie producer. And he was actually up for a few Academy Awards. He goes, "Well, how do you see AI being used in the entertainment industry?" And I said, "Look, one of my favorite actors of all time is Yul Brynner. One of my favorite movies is The Magnificent Seven. And I'd love to see Yul Brynner and Brad Pitt or Charlize Theron be in a movie together. So you can take what we call legacy twins, the data of somebody previous, not just how they look, but their personality and how they are. And in the movies, you can have old actors take part in modern movies. And there's a company that I'm involved with called Myo, Make Your Own, MYO. And that's not about a feature film. It's about a person taking their own training data and making their family story into a movie and then selling it to other people. So I think that across industries, we're going to see a lot of these legacy twins, or for our own ancestors or for famous people in the past. And another story I have is kind of in the DC theme. A friend of mine's dad was the first presidential helicopter pilot. He flew for Ford, Nixon, Kennedy, and he wrote a book on it. Now, he passed about 7 years ago, but my friend had some video and his voice, and we did create a twin of Colonel Gene Boyer, is his name. And now his son can talk to him and ask him questions, all knowledge based from the book and what his son can put in there. So the legacy twins we're not losing all this wisdom from our grandparents and our great grandparents anymore, and things that we appreciated about the past we can bring into the future. So time isn't really a thing anymore. Your knowledge and people can stick around forever. And even Ray Kurzweil and other Peter Diamandis say that we're going to solve immortality by 2050, and maybe that does mean it's an AI twin of ourselves. So I think it's a brave new world, but there's a lot of use cases for legacy twins.
Does it mean that we should start storing our knowledge somehow? Right, it's kind of most of our knowledge is not documented, right? It's in your brain, in your memory. Are there any kind of tools or advancements that would capture that knowledge out of your brain for your legacy twins? It's kind of Neuralink is maybe one of these tools, but maybe like
Yeah.
there are other technologies you saw that could be used for that.
Yeah, the import export from
Exactly.
Neuralink will be really interesting. The download might be more interesting than the upload. So the movie Avatar, if you
Yeah.
saw that, most people did because it's one of the biggest movies of all time. That what they did every day is the Avatar pilots were required to go give their daily brief. If you remember, they sat in front of a camera and they talked about what happened that day. People need to start doing that. I try to urge my own mom to say, "Mom, you're telling me the story. Let's just press record whenever you can think of a story, and please tell it to the microphone so we can have all these stories that we can tell your great great grandkids even when I'm not around, Mom." So I think just using traditional media, whether it's you're recording it in video or you're recording audio or even just writing, we need to do a download from our own brain, which we import into the blockchain that we own in twins. And I hope that people realize this soon, so some of the elderly that are around and maybe not doing so well health wise, we can capture all that wisdom. So just use the typical stuff. Just start creating your own video or audio diary, and you upload that into your twin. And sooner or later, I did take a look at my Chat GPT history. I have 25,000 pages in Chat GPT. So we are interacting. Oh, here's an interesting stat for you. The average person every second creates 1.2 megabytes of data. What they say, who they talk to, what they read, what they're looking at on the internet, what they're watching, their biometric data. So we're going to get smarter about ingestion devices, probably to a point, as you've seen with meta glasses, where it's a 247, 365 recording of your life, and all your conversations are going to be there. And we've got to be in blockchain at that point, Yuri, because then it's just God knows what's going to happen with misquoting somebody who said something out of context that was recorded on a camera. So ingestion devices will get better. For now, create your own video audio diary and get them into your blockchain twin.
Yeah, very interesting what's going to happen.
Yeah, you asked me what's going to happen with AI in general, Yuri. When we reach artificial general intelligence, where AI is as smart as one human, it's OpenAI's mission. It's on their homepage. You're looking at a different world. Let alone ASI, artificial superintelligence, where AI is as smart as the whole planet at the same time. This is 5-10 years away, Yuri. These are big changes. The biggest changes in the history of humanity are coming soon.
So, how can we prepare for that? It's kind of what do you foresee happening back when AI is smarter than us and it's smarter than everything? So, how do we protect at that stage, or how do we protect life?
Yes. So protecting life and for the benefit, the AI for the benefit of humanity is so important. And of course, there's more negative AI movies than positive AI movies in the world. I mean, iRobot, Terminator, Matrix, Her, all those things is a lot of negativity. And generally, Hollywood has happy endings with movies. Sometimes, who's that? The movie producer I was talking to is from Hungary. He says it's a little bit darker there. It's not always a happy ending. So, I'm hoping for a happy ending with AI. I know for me personally, for my daughter, for my friends, anybody that uses a twin, I'm just trying to learn and be a part of AI as much as possible so I can get ahead of it. I think it's really important that everybody start to just kind of no head in the sand. AI is coming. It's going to be as important as electricity. It's going to be as important as the internet. Who doesn't use electricity and the internet today? In the 1800s, when electricity was first kind of moved to homes, people thought there were spirits inside of it and they didn't want it in their home. You just can't survive today without electricity unless you're on like Easter Island or something like that. So I think it's really important for people to just start embracing it, Yuri, and start understanding it better. Even the simple things like start chatting with an LLM is what I'd recommend for the everyday person. Investors, quantum and most AIs are good investments at this point. And of course, if you're getting involved with startups, there's most of the stuff is greenfield blue ocean. You talked about vertical market AI; it's just not there yet.
What about quantum? What is happening there? Are you involved in any quantum ventures?
I mean, I personally, quantum is the next compute
Yeah.
power. It's like any other technology. It's too expensive for most of society, but eventually it'll be, commonplace. If you look at the quantum stocks, like D-Link, which is Qubit's ticker, that one's done quite well this year alone, and a lot of money is going into quantum. And you're still looking at valuations that are less than 10 billion. When you compare that to Nvidia, which is now going on 3 trillion, and of course you can expect Nvidia to be there. But sometimes it's hard to steer these big tanker enterprises to go a direction. Quantum is going to be, especially when they get it at a point where the temperature doesn't have to be so cold that you can operate it. Quantum is going to be the next compute power. It's biological computing power, not digital silicon-based wafers, which is limiting. So that will power AGI, ASI, I believe. And I met another gentleman named James Todd. I met him at a Singularity Net event, and he's actually growing organic brains for compute power. This guy invented touchscreens. He has the patents and IP around touchscreens, which we all use today. Now he's growing. Biological brains that are being used for, I guess, CPUs. You call them, whatever you might call these things. So quantum is the next silicon, and then biological brains may be more powerful than that, but who knows what AI will come up with, Yuri, on its own once it's smart enough. Even OpenAI has even said, do you have a business model? They said, we don't fully know our business model. We're just going to ask AI once we get to AGI what we should do. So
Yeah.
nobody has all the answers, but let's put ourselves in the right place at the right time. Quantum is one of those places.
No, like we meet various ventures that build quantum safe kind of environment, so that for quantum you also have the negative parts, right? And there are ventures that are
Quantum
quantum
proof. Yeah.
safe blockchains, quantum safe wallets, etc. So you travel a lot
Yeah.
around the world, right? Kind of we met in a bunch of different places already, and so how do you manage your lifestyle? I know you travel most of the time, so how do you manage yourself to stay healthy? What are the habits that you have that you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah, thanks for that. I know you do the same and work to keep healthy, and you have kids too. So, fortunately for me, my daughter's now 26 years old, going on 27. She's met a nice guy. She's engaged too. So I don't have kids at home like I used to, which gives me latitude to travel. And boy, is it always eye-opening traveling 30 countries in the past 18 months, Yuri. And that's probably pales in comparison to you. But it's crazy to see how homogenized the world is and how nice people are everywhere, and how you can interact with people around the world, whether it's Dubai or Singapore or the Philippines or Delhi, India, Dominican Republic, Rio. People are nice, and it's always crazy to me in most places how well they speak English, because I'm a dumb American, so I only speak one language. How many languages do you speak, Yuri?
3.5.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's impressive to me. And again, dumb American here. But now Meta glasses can translate on the fly. So, I really like traveling. I've been really lucky to do that since the U.S. opened up on Web3 this year. I've been traveling around the U.S. more because everything Web3 was not in the U.S. until this year. So, as far as fitness, that, Yuri, man, it's so important. Even Ray Kurzweil said, wherever your health is at 2050 is where you'll be forever. Because they being the powers that be, plan on solving immortality by 2050. And whatever state of health you're in then is where your body's going to be. So I keep that in mind. And, I was at the gym here in DC today in the hotel. Sometimes it's hard. You just got to put one foot in front of the other and walk 10,000 steps or 20,000 steps and try to stay away from sugar as best as possible. So, yeah, I love fitness though, Yuri. So it's a big part of my life, and we need to stay healthy, everyone, because medical advancements are coming that are going to increase longevity, and you really want to take care of your body at this point in time
So we need to survive to that certain time that it will keep it.
and be healthy, because 2050 is like, maybe it comes sooner, but wherever you are health wise, you want to be as healthy as possible so that you can just stay in that state. That's the promise of AI, Yuri. We'll see if it happens or not, but just keeping that in mind will help you stay healthier on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and enjoy life. Thank you, Bill. Amazing discussion.
Totally.
Great to learn about the digital twins, and hope to see you soon in one of our events around the world.
Yeah, that event. Well, I most recently saw you in person in Davos,
Yeah.
Yuri, and boy, you had 150 of the world's top investors there. It was so impressive, and everybody had a great time. So always a thrill to be wherever you are, and I know that's where the action is. So
Thank
thank you.
you.